Fafhrd and the Grey Mouser, the land of Nuwan, the city of Lankhmar. If any of these ring a bell, you're probably thinking of Dungeon Crawl Classics Lankhmar, and we're going to talk about it today. Hey everybody, Jordan here. The PH is silent. I'm back with another video where we're going to talk about Dungeon Crawl Classics Lankhmar and just kind of Lankhmar in general. What is it? Why would you want this? And what cool things does it bring to the table? So let's open this box, I guess. I'm not sure if this is in print anymore. It came out in 2017 was the Kickstarter that Goodman Games did, and then after that in 2018 was the fulfillment, and then since then they've been releasing extra adventures set in the city of Lankhmar, so you can buy these modules specifically for a Lankhmar setting. I'll put links down below, obviously, if you're interested, but we're going to go through all of the stuff that kind of comes within this box set. So first of all, we have the Judge's Guide to Niwan, which is the world that the city of Lankhmar is in. So this has got a lot of information on some spells, but the gods, the way of life, things that the locals would know. We have a really cool poster, which I should be framing this. This is just really awesome, of the region of Nuwan. We have the judge's screen full of all kinds of useful information. We have compendiums of secret knowledge. This is the new rules and player options for Dungeon Crawl Classics Lankhmar Edition. Next, we have Lankhmar, City of the Black Toga. This supplement is all about Lankhmar, the city itself. We have a level 1 adventure to get your feet wet running Lankhmar, and this is No Small Crimes in Lankhmar. And then finally, we have this very large poster. And I say large, but it's large for, I don't know, posters, and it's okay. It's a good size. But this is the Lankhmar city poster. Lots of really cool stuff. This also I should frame. This is just really pretty and awesome. And for those of you curious about the rest of this stuff, this is a Dungeon Crawl Classics Played Here kind of promotion. And then when you buy when you buy stuff from Goodman Games, they come with the Goodman Games Gazette, which is just like what the company is doing at the time of this publication. For those of you who don't know, Lankhmar is a very large city in the mythical world of Niwan, which is part of Fritz Leiber's fantasy world where he puts a lot of his stories in. The main characters are Fafhrd and the Grey Mouser, and a lot of the Lankhmar stories and novels involve those two characters in some way. The world is kind of harsh. It reminds me a lot of like a Tortuga, like a pirate place where somebody will sell their best friend if it means that they move up in the world, kind of a thing. So it's very cutthroaty, but there's magic and spells. Interesting, there are gods in Lankhmar, but there are never any clerics who get power from those gods. So the Dungeon Crawl Classics setting has put that in. You're not supposed to play a cleric with the rules of Lankhmar if you're playing on the Lankhmar game. As always, I love physical copies, which is why I have this, but it is a lot easier for me to show off all of the things that are in this box set if we just move over and talk about if we go over to the PDFs. So that's what we're going to do right now. And here we are. This is the Judge's Guide to Niwan, the overarching large world where Lankhmar, a very large city, is in. Now, this setting was the Lankhmar novels were very influential for Dungeons & Dragons. And there's a reason that, like, thieves could use magic items and stuff, and it's kind of from these it's directly inspired from the Fafhrd and the Grey Mouser novels. I will be upfront with you that I have not read a Fafhrd and the Grey Mouser novel, but I did start the first one. I'm about halfway through it, but I realized I wanted to get this video out before I was going to have enough time to finish that actual novel. But that being said, the books that inspired Dungeons & Dragons have been something that I've been very interested in, especially after reading Jack Vance's The Dying Earth. Kind of moved on to Lankhmar, and I've been going through a lot of those early novels to see like where some of the stereotypes come from that are in Dungeons & Dragons. And Dungeon Crawl Classics is a perfect fit for something like Lankhmar because they're trying to rekindle that love of like old school gaming with like new, more modern rules and what have you. So this first book is The Judge's Guide to Niwan, which is the world that Lankhmar is in. And it's basically just information about the setting as a whole. So what are the people like? How are they going to treat other things? What are the other lands? Where could NPCs from? Where could playable characters be from? Right off the get-go, I see Nihonian alcohol. Alcohol plays a big thing in the world of Lankhmar. Gods and patrons, and there's some spells in here, but it is the magic of Lankhmar, the magic of this setting, and how it differs from a traditional Dungeon Crawl Classics base setting, I guess. Something that I really value that Goodman Games has been doing with these type of products, where they are, we're licensing Lankhmar from the estate of Fritz Leiber, and we're going to make a Lankhmar game for you. What if you're me and you don't know where to start? Like, the man wrote so many different things. So where do you start with all of these poems and novels and short stories and things like that about Fafhrd and the Grey Mouser and Lankhmar as a whole? The people that made this box set, they went through and read a whole bunch of them, and they kind of broke down, like, here's what they believe is the essential reading. And so if you want to go through here, then you can read as much or as little as you want to get a feel for this, if this is something you want to play with, or play in, I should say, as a campaign setting. And I think that's really good to be like, hey, up front, we're not hiding this in the back of anything. This is literally page 2. These are the books that inspired all of this. You should go check them out. And here, Dungeon Crawl Classics Lankhmar introduces a new way, a new style of magic. So Patron Bond, with traditional Dungeon Crawl Classics, you kind of become indebted to this patron to get magical, to just get magic from them. They're doing agents versus servants. So a traditional Patron Bond would be more like a servant that I'm working for you and I'm gaining something in return. But an agent would allow a thief or a warrior to do very little things, but get a little bit of power as well, magical power. So you could have thieves and warriors casting spells. And so this is fun. We have becoming an agent. Here's maybe what they want you to do, your supernatural patron. There are some rules about advancing non-class abilities, carousing, which is just big part of this, is going out into the city of Lankhmar and finding out what's happening. And then running urban-centric campaigns. A lot of Dungeon Crawl Classics is going in dungeon delving. And so this is like, how do we do a more narrative-focused game? Up next is Lankhmar, City of the Black Toga. So Lankhmar itself is kind of like a thieves' den area. So this is really a lot of information about Lankhmar itself. History of Lankhmar, the powers that be, the various guilds, crime and cost of living, and then the different quarters of Lankhmar, so you can go to different places, and they have... this is what a lot of people want with campaign settings, or just, like, I would love a D&D Waterdeep setting that is just like, here's the playground that is Waterdeep kind of a thing. And with this Lankhmar supplement, you get that. This is a lot of fun to know, like, the different things that are going on. Not necessarily an overarching story in this, but I do get to know of, places of interest. I know that the thieves meet here. I can do this. And so as a dungeon master, as a judge, I can read through these and kind of come up with stuff. Random shops, as people are running around, they can find random shops. I love tables like this. Thieves' hangouts, slums, the rich men quarter. This is exactly what you would want if you're running within Lankhmar itself. And then, of course, we have Fafhrd and we have the Grey Mouser as NPCs, and then a whole bunch of other NPCs that could be found within this city. And you can meet them and hang out with them, maybe recruit them, do all kinds of things like that. Random street names. This is fun. So yeah, I'm in Salt Lane. I'm part of Bloodwalk. This is kind of a shorter supplement, but I think it does exactly what it needs to do, and it's very easily referenced. And I like that they have this directly on the back to just kind of create the streets that you're running around, because everything in Lankhmar is like, I don't know, everything's in an alley. And then jumping over to Compendium of Secret Knowledge. Compendium of Secret Knowledge, these are the player rules. So how are you going to create your player? And we're going to talk about some of the new types of not classes, but like the different ways to play Dungeon Crawl Classics if you're going to play a Lankhmar game. First of all, right off the get-go, no funnel. I know you guys are going to be sad, but no 0 level funnel. And it's because with Dungeon Crawl Classics, you're not a hero. You're just a peasant that maybe found a magic wand and you're leveling up, but like you're not this amazing hero in the world. They wanted to reflect that, but in Lankhmar you are. Like, you are special. So you're going to start at level 1. And that level 1 is going to, all of a sudden you are better than a level 0 peasant. But yeah, they have the steps for it. You're going to roll your ability scores. The key difference here is allowing you to swap 2 of them if desired. So if I rolled a really high personality and a really low strength, but I want to play more of a fighter, then I can swap those. And that, again, it's because you are a hero. You're allowed to do that. Of course, they do acknowledge that in every game, I believe every RPG, if you're rolling for stats, you're going to customize that probably the first thing before you customize anything else. So if you want to do 4d6 drop the lowest, you can go right ahead and make some really powerful characters. There is not a cleric class within Lankamar. So right off the get-go, and no elves and maybe no halflings. I don't think there's halflings or dwarves. So you are playing a warrior, a thief, or a wizard. So because we don't have a lot of, we don't have dwarves and elves and various things, they're mixing up the human heritage with where you're born. And you can pick or you can roll, but again, Dungeon Crawl Classics really benefits from the random gonzo-ness, so rolling to see what cool piece of background thing that you get from your origin is preferred. Now, with this, you have a benison and you have doom. So something that is good for you and something that is bad for you, and you're going to roll on each side. So if we say I am, from my place of origin is Lankhmar, and I roll d20 on the benisons, plus or minus my luck, I might have a magic scroll, and so I start the game with a magic scroll, or I know a secret, or I have martial training in something. So I could be a wizard, but I'm really good with a big sword, or things like that. But the dooms are also bad, and this is for the judge to kind of come up with like overarching story. You might have, you might have a minor foe. You might be in debt. You might be cursed. Like, lots of cool things that they can play around with. Now, the luck points next to this mean that you can spend that amount of luck to acquire another benison on top of what you rolled randomly. So if you wanted to keep going. And then here talks about all of the different benisons that we could find. So magic scroll, the PC has acquired either as a gift or by crime a magical spell inscribed on a scroll. The contents of the scroll and its casting mechanism are determined randomly according to the DCC rulebook. Reroll the benison if the PC isn't a wizard, thief, or a former wizard's pupil. Because again, wizards and thieves can cast magic, but warriors are not supposed to. Martial training, the character is trained in one particular type of weapon, such as longsword, shortbow, and you get a plus 1d bonus to your deed die if you are a warrior. That's pretty cool. But if you're not a warrior, you get a d3 deed die when wielding that type of weapon. So I could be a wizard, but I actually have mighty deeds, things like that. You own a horse, you own a ship. Like, lots of cool stuff. And then the dooms are, the same thing. Illiterate, you can't read. So here we have the classes. Like I said, there's just thief, wizard, and warrior. And then they have some modifications to it to kind of make it fit within a Lankhmar setting. And then these are corruption tables that are specifically catered to Lankhmar, the campaign setting, so that you won't do really weird ones that are found in the core rulebook. If there is some minor corruption or major corruption, then you could roll off of these. Like, I like this one. Character periodically coughs up tar, but you're not necessarily ending the world. Within the world of Lankhmar, there are black and white magic, and this stipulates that you don't have to pick one, but if you want to, you get a +2 bonus to spell checks of using a particular type of magic. So if I want to be a white wizard, then I get a +2 bonus casting white magic, but a -2 bonus casting black magic spells. Oh, sorry. So spells from the opposite path are cast with a -1d penalty. But white magicians who are trying to inflict damage with a black spell, you have a -2 to each damage die. So you lower the amount of damage that you would do. And black magicians are more prone to horrible corruption. If the greater corruption table is already being rolled on, the caster applies a -2 modifier to their die rolls. So there's no clerics in DCC Lankhmar or just Lankhmar in general. How do you heal? Well, that's where you're able to spend luck to heal. So once in a combat, I believe, if you take like a break and you can spend a point of luck and then roll your hit die and you heal that much. Now, if I am a warrior and I roll a d12 and I get a 2, I heal 2 points, but at that specific moment, I could also spend luck to burn up higher. So if I want to heal 6 hit points, for instance, I rolled a 2, I can spend 4 more luck to get to 6 HP on that session. And I can only do that, like, I think once per combat. So you're not burning through luck as fast to, like, heal. Now, a lot of places you don't have luck to burn, which brings us into our other section of this is called fleeting luck. So everyone starts the game, the session, with 1 fleeting luck, and this is kind of reminds me of how I have been using inspiration in a D&D 5e game. But you somebody says something funny at the table, boom, here's a thing of fleeting luck. Somebody does something really cool, they're like, I'm gonna grab the chandelier and I'm gonna flip over and do this, and you're like, that's awesome, here, have some fleeting luck. So you're giving them luck that they can use as a currency only that session, because at the end of the session, the luck will go away and they won't be able to use it. Now, if you roll a natural 20, boom, you get a point of fleeting luck and you can use it for other extra things, other rolls. And it works just like luck does in Dungeon Crawl Classics, but you're not permanently lowering your luck score. You just have this pile of assistant luck. So but the caveat is if you roll a natural 1, then everyone at the table loses all of their fleeting luck. So it's this, like, I have it, but am I going to have it for the whole time? I don't know. Should I spend it on this one? And I think that creates a really interesting dynamic when you're playing in a Lankhmar game. It also advises not to use clerics and fleeting luck in the same game, because the amount of healing is ridiculous and your players won't be threatened anymore. These are what I'm talking about. You can print these out and you have these little luck tokens. You can throw them out to your friends. They have it. I like to use coins. I just have coins at my table, and I like the idea of tossing them out there, and then people can see how much luck is in front of them and what they want to do. It's pretty awesome. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is Lankhmar in a very basic nutshell. This is a fun, very, very fun box set. I have not run a Lankhmar game yet. I have been in a Lankhmar game, and I had a lot of fun, and I was a wizard, and I was casting spells, and we were doing all kinds of cool stuff, and I really like the luck aspect with the fleeting luck. I would love to run more Lankhmar, and with all of those different adventures that came out, I think starting with No Small Crimes in Lankhmar would be really fun to say, okay, we're going to do this, and then just progress through them, because I think it almost ties in for a little narrative. I'm curious about you at home. Are you guys playing in Lankhmar games? Is this your preferred way of DCC? I think a lot of players are turned away from Dungeon Crawl Classics because how unhero-like you are sometimes. And with this setting, you very much are a hero. And you're exploring and acquiring magic items and doing these really interesting things. And I love the idea of mixing and matching based on my origin. So if I am a wizard, but I have some combat training, or I am a thief and I have some extra magic training, and I can do these servant quests or assistant quests to get extra magic from a patron, I think that's really fun, because your character isn't super tied down like they are in Dungeon Crawl Classics, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Some people really like being a thief and only doing thief things, but as you play a lot of role-playing games, you get to that point where you want to, I really want to be like a sword-wielding wizard, or I really want to be that like dual-wielding thief that can also mind control people. So I think Lankhmar allows you kind of do that, and it's a lot of fun. So that's it for right now. What is your favorite Fritz Leiber novel of the Fafford and Grey Mauser series? Let me know, because I will probably start that one next. Thank you guys. This is a fairly new channel, so if you like Dungeon Crawl Classics and OSR content, please subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one.